Good Wednesday morning, Kickstarters, and welcome to Morning Kickstart. I'm excited that you have decided to show up this morning, invest in yourself, and hopefully take something from today's episode and invest in others. My name is Andrew, and I'm your host of Morning Kickstart. I come here every single weekday to help you put some positivity and encouragement into your life, and hopefully help you even challenge or change your thoughts. So it's midweek. It's Wednesday. How are you feeling? You went through Monday, you went through Tuesday. If they were good, that's great. But what if they were tough? What if you had a hard beginning of the week and you're here in midweek? What do? You can make a decision right now to change what the rest of your day looks like and what the rest of your week looks like in midweek. I want you to really think about that before you get your day started today. Think about what decisions you could make right now that are going to make a difference in your day and is also going to set the tone for the rest of the week. Are you going to make the decision to continue down the path that you're currently on? Monday and Tuesday really kicked your rear end, and you're just going to let it continue to kick your rear end all the way till you get to Friday and you're like, it's finally the weekend. But do you really want to live like that? Do you really want to live the rest of your week being upset and discouraged and sad? Or do you want to live the rest of your week feeling excited and ready to take on the next day? You know, sometimes when we get into this groove of just letting the week kick our butt and just being very blunt, kick our rear end, sometimes we let our life go through the week like that, but then it slowly starts to go into our entire life. We start to live this monotonous, everyday, same old life, and we never get through to feeling like we're living a fulfilled life. Our life begins to feel monotonous, and we continue to go down a path of living a very boring and unfulfilled life. The question that I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to answer it out loud when I say this: do you currently feel like you are living an unfulfilled life? Or if you're not living this life, think about a time in your life where you felt like this. Do you ever want to feel like that again? I'm hoping the question and the answer that go together, that you never want to feel like this again in your life. The thing about living this life that we are very comfortable in that is very monotonous and doesn't challenge us, is we're living in a comfort zone that we've grown to take residence in for a very, very long time. And the thing about living in a comfort zone is you're never testing yourself. You're never trying to make a difference or make any type of changes in your life. Do you want to continue to live that way, or do you want to challenge yourself to live a more exciting and fulfilled life? So when we're talking about all of this, how do we get out of a comfort zone? You know, most of the time when we get into this, it's very easy to stay here and to just feel like we don't have anything else going on, that we're very satisfied with where we're at. We're going to do the same thing for the rest of our life. And I'll be honest with you, there are some people out there like that will continue to live like that for the rest of their life. I am not one of those people. Never have been, never will be. And I hope that I can challenge you to get out of your comfort zone, take that next step, and do something different in your life. Because when you get to the end of the line and they're finally engraving the numbers in your tombstone, how do you want everyone to feel about you? How do you want everyone to say, what impact have they had on me? What have they done to help other people? What exciting things did they create that changed the world? Who are they? Do you want 5 people to show up at your funeral, or do you want thousands of people to show up at your funeral? That's the decision. Do you want to live in your comfort zone and be happy and not challenge yourself? Or do you want to do something different today and make the decision midweek right now to make a difference in your life? I think a really good way to get out of your comfort zone is to change up your daily routine. And it's little things. It's not big things that are going to make a huge difference in your life over time. These small habits that you're creating throughout every day of your life and every day in your routine All of those small habits build big things. So one of the things that I highly recommend is to change up what your morning looks like. And y'all know that I am a huge morning person. I love my mornings. I use every minute that I possibly can while everyone else is still asleep to change my mornings up. So maybe that looks like getting up a little bit earlier, maybe doing a short exercise. Maybe instead of eating a bowl of super sugary cereal, you eat some fiber or some protein. Maybe you eat some boiled eggs. Maybe instead of sleeping until 15 minutes before you got to go to work and just throwing all your clothes on, you wake up an hour and a half earlier and you do things a little bit differently. Maybe instead of when you get to work and doing your same schedule, you try to take a break at a different time. You mix things up a little. Maybe you decide to work differently. Instead of sitting there for 3 hours on your computer, working in a cubicle, about to pull your hair out, about every 50 to 60 minutes, you decide to take a break. And it's a short break where you get up and stretch. Maybe it's a break where you decide, hey, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee real quick, walk around for a second, get my energy back, maybe do some breathing exercises to get myself pumped up. I always say it's good to take a break when you've been working for 3 hours. Example for yesterday, I was at Starbucks. Got there at about 8:30, started working, looked up at the clock, and I had been working for about 2.5 hours. And I just didn't feel good. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get up, walk around, go talk to someone, talk to the baristas, maybe even start a new conversation or relationship with them very quickly, and then sit back down and get back to work. And you don't realize how that 5 to 10 minutes can really break up your schedule and get you energized to go to the next thing. But maybe when you leave work and you start to go home, you don't take the same route. You take a more scenic route that takes a little bit longer, but it's not the same as what you always go through every single day. Or maybe you stop while you're on the way home and enjoy some scenery that you normally haven't enjoyed. Maybe when you get home, you don't binge watch TV and eat a pizza and a thing of chicken wings, and you decide to maybe have a fresh salad or just something healthy with high protein. And instead of binge watching television. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't watch television every once in a while, because it is a good escape every once in a while. But maybe instead of binge watching television, you decide to read a book, or you decide to paint something, or try a new hobby that you've never done before. Just break up the monotony and change up your daily schedule. It's not good to live the same day over and over again. You're going to live that day feeling like you live a very unfulfilled life, and you're always going to be wishing for more. But you'll realize that when you're changing up small things in your everyday routine, it's going to make a really, really big difference in your life. Now, you should not only change up your routine throughout the day, but you need to get out of these unchanging ways of life. And the one really good way to do that, to start making a difference in your life, and you're not going to like this one because no one likes it, but it is facing your fears. To me, fear is one of the biggest preventers of really great things in life, but it is also one of the greatest motivators to keep moving forward and do amazing things in your life. Now, listen, you're going to say, Andrew, it's so easy to say that you face your fears, but actually doing it scares me to death. It's supposed to scare you. It's supposed to terrify you, because facing your fears is one of those things that once you get over and you're finally able to get through it, it makes every day of your life so much more simple. But have you noticed that when you do one thing that you're afraid of, and doing it the first time is really scary, it's really difficult to do, but have you noticed that when you do that one thing for the first time, the next time you do it, it gets easier and easier and easier, and you become less afraid every single time that you do it? But it always takes that one leap of faith and saying, I'm going to try this one time and get through it. You know, when I first started playing music, I've been playing guitar my entire life. I used to sing, lead in worship bands, played in a rock band called Kismet. I mean, I've been through the performances after performance after performance, was in choir, all kinds of stuff. But here's the thing. When I first started doing that, and the first time I ever played guitar and sang in front of a large crowd, it was terrifying. I can remember the first time I played in a group called Experience 180, and we played in front of a crowd of about 200 people. And I actually started the session off in the wrong key, and everyone else was in the right key. Talk about being terrified. But once I got on track and started going, it became easier and easier. And then when we got to the 14th or 15th event, it was very easy and it was normal. Fear is something that can be worked on. Fear is a natural emotion that is inside of us that scares us to try to keep us safe in different situations. But fear is also something that is ingrained in us from trying new things and being different. But it's something that can be worked on. It's something that you can train yourself slowly over time to get used to. So one of the best things that I always say to do when you're thinking about fear is take a sheet of paper, think about the topic that you're doing. Write down the things, what are the worst things that could happen and what are the best things that can happen. And most of the time when you do that, you're going to figure out that the good far outweighs all of the bad things that can happen from overcoming this fear. Now, the last thing that I want you to do to break through your comfort zone, to get out of the comfort zone, is to up your game. Now, you're probably asking, what do you mean by upping your game? I'm going to ask you this question. Does everyday life challenge you, or does everyday life become fairly easy to you? Do you hang around or are involved with people that make you feel comfortable or that challenge you throughout your life? Now, I'm not talking about fear factor challenge here. For all of you people who remember what fear factor is, I'm not talking about fear factor challenge. I'm talking about a challenge that's going to make you a better person. If you are around people that don't challenge you or that make you feel comfortable or that make you feel like you're going through life fairly easy and everything is going correct, or if every day of your life does not feel challenging, you feel like you're going through the same thing over and over again, you do not need to do this. You need to have things in your life that are challenging you every single day. You need to be listening to programs and watching programs that are going to challenge you to learn, that are going to give you a desire to crave more in your life, that are going to make you even more knowledgeable or teach you how to do something in a specific area. Listen, I'm not saying that Netflix and all these programs are bad. That's not what I'm saying. I enjoy watching a movie every once in a while. I enjoy getting on Disney Plus and watching a cartoon with my kids. I enjoy getting on Discovery and watching Magnolia Network and seeing Chip and Joanna redo a hotel. That is not what I'm saying. It is good to disconnect every once in a while, but you need to be challenging yourself. You need to be reading. You need to be expanding your mind. You need to be thinking differently. You need to feel like at the end of the day, when I get to the end of the day, does your brain hurt? Because if your brain's not hurting, you need to be pushing yourself to do better. Another thing that I always say to do is reach out to other people that you want to be like. Whether that be someone that you want to mentor you, or you just want to ask them questions about how they got to where they're at or what they've done differently than other people have done. And you expand your knowledge in that area. Or maybe you contact them and say, hey, would you have time to meet for a coffee this week? 30 minutes tops. I'll pay for your coffee. I just want to ask you about your life, and maybe it will help me get to where I want to go. A comfort zone is very comfortable. That's why it's called a comfort zone. It's easy. It doesn't take much work at all. But once you get to the end of this beautiful, beautiful life, do you want to tell yourself job well done and have impacts on other people? Remember, we talked about a funeral. You want 5 people at your funeral, or you want a lot of people at your funeral saying, I'm so excited and I'm celebrating the life that this person gave me, or what they did in my life, or how they changed my life, or how they impacted me, or what they did for my community. Challenge yourself. Get yourself out of the comfort zone. It allows you to have so much personal growth in your own life. It gives you a sense of resilience and confidence and new opportunities and so much more. The relationships you can build just by getting out of your comfort zone will absolutely change your life. Listen, I want you to live a fulfilled life. I want you to be happy and excited every time your feet hit the floor in the morning. I believe in you. You can do this. And listen, I want you to remember, and I say this every single time, but I want you to remember that you can do hard things. You were made for more, and you have a purpose. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And as always, thank you for being a part of Morning Kickstart.